So our next presentation is by Luc Leblanc. He will talk about photographic atlas of the Dacini of the world, and Luc did a tremendous job there.
I formerly was a hymenopterist working in the Canadian National Collection, started 40 years ago, but then in 1994 I turned to the dark side and accepted a position working under the regional fruit fly projects in the Pacific. So I turned to the dark side and became a dipterist. And it was Alan Allwood who hired me. I spent 8 years in that project, and I worked closely with Dick Drew as well during that. So they were my two fruit fly mentors in my early years. And last year I published the Fruit Flies of Oceania monograph in Insecta Mundi that summarizes all that work. The Dacini, currently there's 1,017 described species, and that includes 85 pest species. So in 2018 with Camille, we published a checklist that included 932 species. So that's already outdated because there's 85 new species that have been described since. Dacini are present in the Old World tropics, and in Africa the genus Dacus is dominant, and in Asia Zogodacus and Bactrocera are dominant. And by far the hotspot of species diversity is in New Guinea, and I was very lucky to live and sample fruit flies in Papua New Guinea from 1997 to 1999, some of the best years in my life. Traditionally, the male lures are Q-lure and methyl-eugenol, but in recent years, zingerone as well as a number of alternative lures have allowed to collect a lot of new species not attracted to the traditional two lures, and therefore a lot more work needs to be done with Dacine fruit flies. For example, in 2018 I spent 3 weeks in Solomon Islands, sampled 2 islands over 3 weeks, and discovered and described 7 new species, mostly because attracted to zingerone. One species I was known from only 2 specimens. I collected more than 1,400 specimens by deploying. Starting in 2011, when I was living in Hawaii, the funding support from U.S.A. to start studying the taxonomy of fruit flies as postdoc. In that process, I photographed 248 species in the Bishop Museum and material that we collected during our surveys. And I worked closely with Mike San Jose. We did surveys in the field in different countries, just like CDFA did. And I identified the flies, and Mike did all the CO1 gene. And that allowed me to study and document extensively intraspecific variations, and I published a big paper on that in 2015. These photos, I put them on an online database of photos, but the website vanished in 2016. I'm very sour about internet database. I've created and lost 3 of them, so now I continued over the years until now, documenting, taking photos of these available to identify the species, produced by Elmo Hardy, Dick Drew, Dave Hancock, and all the drawings by Meredith. They rely on black and white drawings, so I figure if I could publish color versions of these fruit flies, color photo versions, that would be a great complement to the keys. So I received in more recent years additional USDA funding to go visit various collections and take photos of their Dacine fruit flies to continue documenting. And my last trip was exactly 1 year ago. I was in Brisbane, and I photographed over 300 species, 2,000 photos in 3 weeks. I saw Dick and Meredith again. I had not seen them in quite a few years. That was really great to get together with them again. And they signed and dedicated my copy of the fruit flies of Papua New Guinea, for which I collected many holotypes of those newly described species. In the end, I reached 74% of the species for which I have photographed, 752. I could reach 90% if someone can fund me to go to the British Museum and to Bruxelles. Then I can get all the dacus from Africa, but I'm not going to wait for that. It has to be published, even if not all the species are there. I went on to produce a photographic atlas that will be online, free, for PDF for download. And the atlas, each species has a profile page with photos, and there's metadata with the subgenus and distribution, lure, pest status, as well as exact references. You go to which page to find the black and white drawing, the descriptions and the diagnosis of the species. So you can, as you're doing the keying, you can go and examine the color pictures and compare them further than the line drawings. All these pages are done, finished, POW. And now I'm working on the intraspecific variation pages. I have 75 species. So once these are done, it's going to be ready for publication. That will be probably a Christmas gift. Now the question is, who will publish 1,000 pages of photos? Flight Times supplement. If you remember, 2 years ago, Anthony Thomas, the tabanid expert, sent an email to the Diptera community saying, I want to do a key to the tabanids of your region or state. Anyone interested? As soon as I saw that, I called Bill Turner, Washington State University professors who came every week to the museum, and we worked together for 6 years, collaborated. I called Bill and I said, let's do it. And 20 minutes after the email, I responded to Tony saying, Bill Turner and I, we are ready to do it. So we worked on it, and this is the book. Flight Times supplement, and the printing was done by the Book Patch, which is a company I recommended to Steve to print the abstracts volume it was printed, and during that last year of Bill's life, he had cancer. He was able to finish his part, and then Tony and I, we finished the book, and Bill, 6 days before he passed away, I went to his house in Pullman, and he was lying in bed very weak. And I felt very proud of giving that book to Bill. Bill he trained none other than Steve Guy-Mary in his master's thesis. So Bill, very humble man, very knowledgeable. I chose Flight Time supplement, and for the publications of the book will include a revised checklist of the world species that will be an upgraded version from our 2018 publication. My next project in the pipeline is a traditional key to the 85 pest species of Dacine fruit flies. And this is a sample of my Dacine fruit fly art collection from Papua New Guinea and Tanzania and French Polynesia. That's the original drawing from Marianne Adachi, who was the illustrator of Elmo Hardy. The most beautiful Dacine drawing I've ever seen. I have it at home. And Ellie Hitching, I'm giving my acknowledgement to her because she did the photo editing, removing background. And Ellie, that's one of her drawings she gave to me, but there's something else that she created, which is the most amazing piece of fruit fly art you will see in years. I turned to the dark side in 1994 to become a dipterist. Well, Anakin Skywalker turned to the dark side and he became Darth Vader. Therefore, Luke Skywalker, 30 years ago, turned to the dark side and he became Dr. Mad Bug. So now, lastly, there's a joker card here that one of you will be able to have for your card collection. It's underneath one of your seats. Just with your hands under your chairs, one of you will find the joker card. If it's not under your chair, it might be under the chair next to you. Just feel it. You will feel the card. And
Flies over our heads.
aha! Come to the front. Come to the front. You got the card. Come here. Come here. This is your copy of the book.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luc. It was awesome entertainment, and the talk was awesome.